Welcome to the conference. Really happy to see a big turnout here. So I'm Brad Jones, professor of political science and member of the Institute for Social Sciences Executive Committee. It's my pleasure to welcome you today to the Making Social Sciences Transparent conference. This is a conference that I, along with Samin Vizier in psychology and Eric Mulegger in econ at UC Davis Economics, have been planning for about the past 6 months or so. And we're really looking forward to a really productive and informative and interesting day on this very timely topic. So I hope you are too. So today's event is hosted by the Institute for Social Sciences here at UC Davis and is co-sponsored by my home department of political science. The Institute for Social Sciences was established in 2014 and has a wide-ranging agenda that includes stimulating interdisciplinary collaborative research, training the next generation of social science scholars, and delivering vital information to policymakers in the state and nation. The Institute also hosts and supports and reports on an array of events throughout the year, focusing on critical societal challenges and bringing prominent leaders and thinkers to campus. And so be sure to check out the Institute online at iss.ucdavis.edu. And follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Someone wrote these lines for me. There's no chance I could do that. I told you I'd go off script. There's no chance that's not going to happen. Okay, so to join the Twitter conversation about today's discussion, follow at UC Davis ISS, and if you go to the back to the entrance here, you'll see that printed. And use hashtag MSST2016. So now it's my pleasure to introduce Duncan Temple-Lang, who will give some opening remarks. Duncan is professor of statistics and director of the Data Science Initiative here at UC Davis. In this role, he is at the forefront of thinking about data issues and how they affect a wide variety of disciplines at the university. He will help us launch this conference with some thoughts that will serve as a useful background as we move forward through the day. Please join me in welcoming Duncan.
Chance to print my notes, so you should have given me some. Thank you very much for inviting me, and thank you all for coming, and from near and far away, and for bringing the rain. We're very appreciative of that. I'm truly delighted to be here today because I'm fascinated by the process of science, and I'm a statistician, so there's clearly a lot of statistics in here, and I'm the director of the Data Science Initiative, so I'm very interested in the entire data pipeline, from data acquisition all the way to reporting the results, and clearly you guys are very much at the forefront of that. I'm very interested in changing how social science is done. I'm very interested to see how you're going to do this because it has a major impact on a lot of other fields. So you're sort of at the forefront of this, along with a few other very different takes on the reproducibility issues. Brad and others have developed a terrific program today, which covering very broad, extraordinarily broad. When I was reading the agenda, but then it's like, wow, there's a very coherent theme, covering the reproducibility crisis, as some call it, and some disagree, and even that is controversial, which means that the actual research must be too. But I'm very glad that it actually addresses some very concrete proposals for actually how we're going to solve this, but they're very, very broad, to dealing with the technical aspects of statistical analysis and p-values and all the methodology that we're developing, to peer review for publication and journals and how they operate. Important to me is what is published, so this notion of data and software and code. I publish software, okay, which is a very odd thing in academia, but data itself and publication of that is becoming extraordinarily important and not obvious how we actually do it and give credit. But also very important to me as part of the Data Science Initiative, and with Tracy here, Tracy Teal from the Data Carpentry, is how we change the educational goals and the curricula that we actually have to teach for people to learn essentially a whole extra set of tools for their research. This is a real challenge. So congratulations for organizing such a very broad topic. Some issues to me. We were having a conversation yesterday at dinner. Why is this complicated? For very, very many reasons. As a statistician, we constantly, I'm in this era of big data, and yet many people aren't. Okay, so you have very low statistical power. That this is a serious problem that you cannot overcome. We can't just assume things away with good good methodology that doesn't apply. Also, again, talking yesterday, so a lot of the data are derived from complex data in the form of images and audio and video, and subject to a human interpretation of what the actual data to be analyzed are. This is complicated. This makes the pipeline extremely difficult, much more complicated than we statisticians have to deal with, where we assume the data come to us. Often the data do not measure what we think they do, and the scope of inference is entirely wrong, and the methodology does not correct for this or smack us around the place. And likewise, I sit in the statistics department that generates paper after paper of new complex methods that are not easy or transparent to use, and we do not understand their operating characteristics ahead of time necessarily, and certainly people who are just users may not understand them or even have the intuition about where the randomness applies to the statistical estimates that are coming. And we tend to do a lot of mathematics rather than an awful lot of intuition, which is a problem. One of the things that we were talking about yesterday was this notion of, can we actually use machine learning for at least validating the human scoring of videos and images, or actually even just replacing it so that we can get reproducibility, or, as I say, just validation if nothing else, so that we can at least identify problems. I'm also delighted to see a lot of different disciplines here, beautifully sort of nicely arranged of social sciences, not too big, not too small, because the multidisciplinarity of data science is really important, because we're all sharing these problems in very, very different ways, but also we can borrow strengths from different places. And I'd just like to mention, because it's a slightly different focus, I come from a culture of open software, open source software and open code, which is a really important vehicle. Open data and linked data are becoming extremely important. The dynamically computed documents, which actually just reproduce the computations, not the actual necessarily the thinking, but they are at least a sort of a forensic track of what's going on. Data workflows and data provenance in CS are very, very important, and I hope somehow we can embrace all of these things and sort of and share and exchange good ideas. The other thing that I've noticed in looking at this is, boy, every single aspect of the research process is touched, from the researcher themselves to the peer reviewers to the actual journal editors deciding what to publish and what not to publish, and what replication, what the value of replication articles are, and all that sort of stuff. Also of publishing data, but then, as I say, closing the loop back to what sort of education do we actually need to do. This leaves nothing essentially untouched in our entire process, which means essentially we should go home. Okay, academia changes slowly, but we want to change it all essentially in one go. So I'm optimistic. Why? Because we are collecting data. We are able to collect data so quickly. Everything is changing. We're able to sort of use iPods, as your iPod touches, as we were talking about yesterday. We're able to use video cameras to collect data and then to analyze it in different ways. Just the momentum in the technology is actually hopefully going to change some of our culture, at least just challenge it ridiculously, so that we have to think a little bit more. I just hopefully quickly, as I say, data science, many people in the social science say, oh, well, data science has very little to do with us. We don't have big data. So for some reason, data science, big data seem to be synonymous. Data science is about complex data, and complex data can be two data points, but there's a lot of complexity behind them. Okay, so first of all, we want to engage with people on what you may not call big data or data science. We do. But very, very important, data science, a lot of people are missing the point about data science. It's not just about applying machine learning and high-performance computing and the state-of-the-art technology, but it's actually about understanding the process of scientific discovery that is data-driven. So we actually want to go back and see what works and what doesn't work, which I think is very much in line with what you're talking about today. And what I also think is, it's largely a social and a cultural element in what we're doing. Now, who should study social and cultural aspects of science? You guys. So, and we also think we should, because we want to study it from a technical point of view. So we're very keen to actually liaise with you on actually understanding how science is done and how we can actually exploit data-driven science. I will just, Joe Dumet, the director of the ISS, told me I needed to tell you that I needed to plug the data science initiative on campus, so I'm going to do that. So I'm the director of this data science initiative, which we have on campus in Shields Library. We've put out a call for projects for people, and this is an ongoing call where we would like people to sort of say, we would like to collaborate with you, or we do not have the data science expertise, but we have really interesting questions. Can you help us? And to do qualitatively new research. And we are poised and ready to do this, and we're begging for people to come. We already have numerous projects lined up, but we're very much looking for more. And this ranges, as I say, from data acquisition, which a lot of people are doing from scraping data off the web and APIs, all the way through data management, cleaning, visualization, statistical analysis, machine learning, and so forth, and dealing with large amounts of data. So there's a website called dsi.ucdavis. Follow us on, no. Yeah, you're good at that. So just to conclude, you're doing extraordinarily important work that is of great value to all of us, not just in the social sciences. I only have to be here now, but I'm going to stay all day except for 1 hour when I have to run to a committee. But I'm fascinated to find out what's happened, and I'd really like to collaborate with you all. So thank you for all your good work and its impact. Thank you.